Ace Attorney in real life. Nintendo has won their 15-year-long lawsuit against Nacon, the one where they ripped off the Wii remote design or something. I don't necessarily know what this lawsuit is about. This thing has been going on longer than I've been doing YouTube, actually. So, yes, this is a very good example as to how every little tiny itty little bitty company that goes up against Nintendo in legal lawfare is going to positively 100% get wrecked. There are countless examples of this over the years. Most notably, when Nintendo won the Kong license from Universal themselves, and went ahead to partner with them like 40 years later for the Donkey Kong theme parks. This is the inevitability of every single one of these Nintendo lawsuits. Is that Nintendo is going to win because so many of these companies are just plagiarizing their brands and plagiarizing their concepts. This is not an isolated incident. They've been doing this since like Great Gianna Sisters. At the at least, there's probably more older examples than that, but Nintendo is probably one of the most heavily plagiarized companies in the world right now, especially when you take into consideration like how many people go to bat for the plagiarists. How many people have we seen over the past couple of years like go to bat for games like, I don't know, Anton Blast or Pizza Tower or like I don't know, War Groove or like there are just so many like blatantly plagiarized indie games that are just ripped from some like older Nintendo title. And now we have situations like the Palworld thing, where Nintendo's going up against this corporation that ripped off Pokemon, that did everything they possibly could to make their game popular, and like they got the fanboys riled up, and they got these YouTubers on board, and they shilled Palworld, and they tried desperately to push this narrative that Palworld was the next big thing. And today, you only hear about Palworld when it comes to the lawsuit that they are inevitably going to lose. I keep seeing people say things that like, well, this Japanese patent was thrown out and this American patent is getting reevaluated. Bro. That is just clickbait from Western journalists who don't know a damn thing. Like, Palworld is completely fucked. There is no victory from them. I hear people like do this thing where like, well, Nintendo isn't gonna recoup their costs from this lawsuit. Like, yeah, they're a giant corporation. They don't need to. Their goal isn't to make money. Their goal is to protect their brand. And that is what we're seeing here today with this situation. What we're seeing here today in the Nintendo camp is seeing them pull off yet another legal W. And considering the Power World lawsuit has been going on for I think over a year now, we are at the point now where we can reasonably expect some real progression on that front in the next year or so. Power World very well may lose the lawsuit next year, and it is going to be glorious when that happens because Nintendo is asking for an injunction against them, which means the company won't be able to use the Palworld brand, and they'll be completely and utterly irrelevant, like completely done, finished, and nobody's even really going to talk about them outside of trying to make Nintendo out to be the bad guy. And that is the reoccurring trend we've seen when it comes to these situations. Nintendo's doing perfectly normal things in protecting their brands from plagiarists and thieves, and yet the gaming industry as a whole, in their desperate attempt to downplay Nintendo, has to go to bat for obvious AI generated slop like Palworld. Okay, people are going to bat for like cheap knockoff products. Like, imagine if like these people went out and they tried to say that like, oh yeah, Pokemon Black and Blue, the fan game that PETA made, obviously that is something that we should support over the actual Pokemon brand. That's basically what Palworld is, you know? Like, this is on par with what PETA does. This is on par with, like, some of the worst mobile knockoff Nintendo products ever, and Nintendo's slowly starting to choke them out, and I hope this specific situation allows Nintendo to have, like, be given increased, ability to protect their brand against, like, you know, plagiarists and thieves, you know. Like, they really should have been able to, like, take down Power World in, like, the early, like, from the moment it was announced, honestly, considering the similarities and, like, the gameplay they were going for and all that. Like, like, they are gonna have to, like, start, like, advocating for that, because this isn't about gameplay mechanics. This is about, like, Power World just straight up ripping off their brand, essentially. And they are gonna need more power to take off to take out games like this, to go after games on Steam and PC and on mobile, to go after people in foreign countries, to go after, like, anybody who would try and pull this nonsense, because this is something that has been an issue for years. Because I remember when Flappy Bird came out and everybody was gushing, like, "Oh man, look at this! It's the most fun game I've ever played. Oh, it's so good! Look at these pipes. Oh, those are the best pipes I've ever seen." And it's like, you look at them and they're just like from Super Mario Bros. Right? Like, it's they're just Mario pipes that some Vietnamese guy like copy and pasted into his shitty iOS game. Like, that is the typical video game industry today, is just a bunch of hacks just ripping off Nintendo's ideas, ripping off their mechanics, stealing their code in a lot of cases. And Nintendo does need increased protection to go after these people. Like, they should be preventing things like this from happening again. And I imagine that's a big reason, like a big thing in these court proceedings, is like, yeah, they need to go after Power World. They need to go after the game journalists who shilled it. I would like them to go after Jeff Keighley and Sony for shilling it the way they did. Like, I definitely hope that, like, Power World being taken out isn't the end of it, because it needs to happen. We do need to see more and more, like, serious legal repercussions for this kind of plagiarism, this kind of unethical behavior, this kind of just grifting that was just downright unacceptable, and should be called out. And this is hopefully a very positive sign of what's to come, because I'm sure this is another lawsuit that people swore up and down would never go anywhere and that Nintendo would never win. And in the end, they totally did, because Nintendo always wins. You know, not only do they have the best game developers in the industry, they also have the best lawyers. There is no hope for Power World. There is no hope for Nintendo's legal opposition. And now it is high time we acknowledge that fact.